Okay guys, today we are going with the Montecristo 1935 anniversary Edición Diamante. In other words, Diamond Edition. This is the Montecristo 1935 anniversary Diamond Edition. But once in a Spanish accent, it is Edición Diamante. The reason why I'm going for this cigar is because the Discord chat I'm a part of, which is called SSL, Shadow Smoker Legion. I remember seeing my good buddy Tony post a picture of this cigar into the chat. So I know it. To me, it looked intriguing. Montecristos are something that they're typically more hits for me than on the misses side. I don't mind them. I don't actively search out for them or hunt them down. But I believe the bands typically look nice. So you have the New York edition, you have the Chicago edition, which I did review. I still have it and I haven't uploaded it. Please let me know you want me to upload content that's over a year old. I reviewed the Chicago edition of the Montecristo, but at the time I had no channel. So it's still my hard drive, but I haven't done anything with it yet. The cigar itself is a medium cigar, not medium to full, just a medium cigar. You have this version, you have the Chicago edition, you have the Espada version, you have the Epic versions. There's so many different variation of the General Cigars version of Montecristo that their bands look really nice. I love the presentation of a lot of the bands, and they're just something that I kind of like to collect. So when I saw this picture on the group chat I'm part of, I just wanted to get it. And luckily enough, the lounge I went to with my uncle, they had it there. Ooh. Before I even cut and light, just want to give you guys a precaution that I just noticed right now a little cut. I just noticed that right now because when I was going like this to show it off, I heard that little rip noise. It's time for me to shut the hell up and just cut. I haven't done any cold draw yet. I don't think that little rip will cause any issues. So this is a Toro, and as you can see by the shape, this is a box press. This is a little bit more of a literal box press. Typically other box presses you will see are more like rectangle, where it's a little bit more spread out in a fashion of almost like a lighter. So box presses would be like so, a little bit more flatter on top and more wider. This is a Toro, specifically a 6x55. I get a lot of chocolate on that cold draw. It has been a long while since I did smoke a Montecristo, and I think the last Monte I smoked was that Chicago edition that has yet to hit the internet because I was on a hiatus. But I always wanted to smoke it. Unfortunately, it was breaking apart. I did have to review it, even though I had no channel at that time. So at least it could be smoked and not just have it disintegrate in my humidor. You have a little earthy undertone to the wrapper. There's not much aroma to it. Sometimes you will have more of a tobacco, earthy, chocolatey, sweet, oily, spicy you will have a little bit more of an undertone or something that's prevalent when you try to find any aromas on cigars. This one seems nothing. It's like very hidden. Once you're done like inhaling at the very tail end, that's when you get that earth. The foot is different. The foot has a bit more pepper and earth. That cold draw, you get this creamy chocolate, like more like a milkshake. Yeah. You get this milkshake taste note. So, it's time to review this sucker. Call me Booker T. As I light this cigar up, was there anybody a fan of WWF or WWE? And if you were, are you still are? Have you gave the new age wrestling a chance, or you just gave up at like once the Attitude Era or once it turned PG, did you just give up? Woo! Peppery. Wow. That fast retro gave me that burst of pepper, but not much of like a shock. I mean, it was a shock. The pepper was a shock, but it wasn't like intense. It was just more like a jump scare. You go to a movie, it's just like boom. That's what I got from this. Spicy, earthy. The chocolate note was very subtle. It's not really in the forefront as I thought it would be, because with that cold draw, you got a lot of chocolate. Oof, that is spicy. All right, let me not retro and just do a regular taste test. It's hard to pick up the notes retro wise because it's more like a pepper bomb to basically your senses. So it's kind of hard to detail the taste notes. But when you just taste the cigar as is without retroing, that's when you get the chocolate shake, more like cocoa chocolate powder. Like, I'm sure you ever had Ovaltine or Nesquik. It's kind of like that powdered chocolate. That's what I get from this. That's the type of chocolate I get from this cigar. So just picture Ovaltine or picture Nesquik and just take a spoonful of that powder and maybe throw in a little bit of some white pepper or maybe just black pepper and just and call it a day. That's what I'm getting for initial parts. In the foreground is earth, so maybe throw dirt. I don't know. If I could describe it, obviously it sounds more appeasing when you describe it in cigars, but when you tell you when I explain it into consuming, it may sound disturbing. But just get a spoon, a big spoon, put a lot of chocolate in it, slight bits of white pepper or black pepper, either or is fine. Put a little bit of dirt that you get, like I'll say like dirt you get from the barn, like dirt from a farm, not dirt from like urban areas. I would say more like farm dirt, so more like earthy, rich dirt. And add a little drop of maybe half and half or yeah, half and half. You have a little creaminess to this as well. So some type of milk, I'll lean towards more half and half or cream. That's what this gives me. Let me take a step back and paint a better picture so you guys can understand what I mean with feelings the cigar gives me taste note wise. Just imagine yourself as a farmer in the middle of, I don't know, in the middle of Kentucky or possibly Kansas. You have this huge amount of land, just acres of farmland, where you have your different vegetations, different fruits, your different livestock there, your cattles, your swines, your horses. Just picture that land. And when you go towards your vegetations or anything that's in your plantation, let it be fruits to vegetables to apple trees to orange trees and so on, picture that dirt, picture the smell you get in the air and you have that very rich earth. But just imagine yourself just sitting in the front of your home with a nice cup of hot chocolate. That's what this is. That is what you get from this. You're enjoying a nice cup of hot chocolate in front of your farm with maybe a splash of like cinnamon for the spice aspect. So put a little bit of cinnamon in your hot chocolate, mix it all about, and slowly ingest that creamy chocolatey drink while you are enjoying the air of your scenery, which would be your land, your farm, your livestock, your plantation. That's what I get from this. So Rick, you just described the flavor notes for the first third. Is that the only size? What's the wrapper? What's the binder? What's the this? What's the that? All right, listen to me. Right, listen to me. Yeah, listen, not listen. That's, I mean, technically speaking, this could be a listen if you're deaf, so you could do sign language. So people out there who are sign language, thank you. I mean, you could listen with this. If you're deaf, you can't hear, so you have to see a person do sign language. But besides the point, yes, I heard you. Yes, there's different vitolas in the cigar. There's 6 different vitolas that you can enjoy the cigar in. You have Robusto, you have Toro, you have Grande, you have Churchill, you have Icon, and you also have number 2. Those are the 6 sizes you could get with this Edición Diamante. And the specifics of each of the cigars would be Robusto 5x54, which would be a MSRP of $22.86. Then you have the Toro. You have this one right here, which is a 6x55 at $24.20 for MSRP. Then you have the Grande, which is 6x60 at $25.16 for the MSRP. Fourthly, you have the Churchill at 7x54 with the MSRP of $26.08. The 5th variation of the Vitola, you have the Icon, which is a 4 3/4 by 48, which the MSRP is $16.42. And lastly, you have the number 2, which is a 6.5 by 56, with the MSRP being $24.78. Those are the 6 different Vitolas you could get with this Edición Diamante of the Montecristo line. Ricky, give me the length for the Toro and everything else, and as well as the MSRP. What's in the cigar? What's the ingredients to the cigar? Is it disclosed? Is it undisclosed? What is it? Well, this is a Nicaraguan puro cigar. What is puro? That's just for the accent, but it's puro. If you want to take it with the accent, it's a Nicaraguan puro. That's nasty saying that. Or a Nicaraguan puro. It's kind of my brain hurts trying to say in the English accent. Whenever I see something in Spanish, I have to put my little twang to it. It's just my brain is wired that way. The Diamante. I can't say Diamante or Diamante. My brain just hurts doing that. but Edición, Diamante. This is a Nicaraguan puro. But there is different regions in Nicaragua in this cigar. You have a Nicaraguan wrapper from the Jalapa region. Then you have a binder that's also Nicaraguan. It's from the Ometepe Criollo. 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 And with a Spanish accent, the LL is technically a Y. Whenever you see two L's on anything that's Spanish, you pronounce it with a Y. So for example, if a person's name is Llandel, it's not Landel, their name will be Yandel or Yandel. Whenever you see someone with two L's, that letter is replaced with a Y. For this case, the CRIOLLO will turn into CRIOYO. So Criollo. Just giving you guys a little tip of the Spanish language. And lastly, you have the filler. The filler is from Estelí. So this is still all Nicaraguan, but from different regions. So basically 3 different tobaccos from Nicaragua has been cultivated and curated for this Edición Diamante line. All right, Rick, is there any other information you could offer us about the cigar? Not much really. The only thing I could talk about is that this cigar was supposed to come out in 2020, but the people who were ahead of it, which was Abdel Fernandez and Rafael Nadal, felt like the tobacco needed a little bit more age. So instead of releasing this continuous production line in 2020, they wanted to age tobacco a little bit more, so they released it June 2023. That is it. That's all the information I was able to scrounge up about the cigar. Let's kick back, relax, and enjoy the rest of the review. See you guys in 1 second as I enter the second third.
A few inches later.
No, it's been like 5 minutes. And the cigar is a bit more earthy than it is chocolatey. But there's the little cool aspects I found about the band. You see the sigil within the band is embedded. Like I said before, Montecristo cigars are sometimes hit or miss. Some of them have amazing taste to the cigar, more variation of different notes could be in it. Some of them a little bit more standard, with more just focusing on chocolate, focusing on coffee, focusing on earth, hay. There's a whole bunch of different components when you smoke different Montecristos in the general cigar lines. This one seems to focus more on the earth component with the very background notes of cream, chocolate, and pepper. That's what I'm getting mostly from this blend. I don't think there's any flavor changes that happens, maybe just tweaks of amount of, I guess, intensities to get of those notes. I don't think it's gonna go from chocolate to then espresso and then alter it to a different flavor. I don't think this is a cigar that will have those flavor changes. I think this cigar will go more of the beginning being more spicy, then the second third being more earthy, then the last third being a little bit more subtle with everything, so it could be a calming end. That's gonna be my prediction. So right now I am entering that second third. And that spice level definitely dropped down quite a bit. And that earthiness is making its way to the forefront. While the creamy chocolate or milk chocolate or chocolate shake is just being in the background, sometimes playing a role in the mid ground. But it's definitely not the forefront of the cigar. The forefront is definitely earth. Before I cut and go to the last third, I'm gonna ask you guys a fast question. What is your favorite Montecristo line in the general cigars department? Is it the Espada? Is it the Epics? Is it the Classics? Is it the White Series? What Montecristos has been your favorite? Or why don't you like Montecristo? I want to know your take on the Montecristo line. To me, the general cigars Montecristos have been fair to me. Some of them are underwhelming compared to other ones being, just something that I don't mind grabbing, especially the AJ Fernandez of Montecristo. That's one cigar I don't mind having occasionally. All the other ones have been kind of meh to me. But what was your first Montecristo? What's your go-to Montecristo? Or why don't you enjoy Montecristo? See you guys in the last third of the cigar. So guys, I'm on basically the last third. And to my surprise, it's a boring cigar. Not much happened with the taste. The last third is a little bit more peppery, but it's just earth. That's really all it is. It's earth with just ever so slightly hints of chocolate and creaminess and all the other stuff that I mentioned in the beginning. To me, it's just very boring. Nothing stands out about the cigar itself. The construction, one thing I can say is most likely that rip was user issue. Maybe how I stored it. Maybe it was like that when I bought it. Even removing the band, nothing crinkled, nothing cracked. It came out flawlessly. Smoke output is good. The draw is perfect. So let's just get into the whole 3 rating system: experience, taste notes, and construction. For construction, I'm gonna give the cigar a 9. You know, it did crack. I'm not too sure how it did crack. I'm not sure if it did ball like that or whatever, but it did held up perfectly fine. But the fact that it has a crack, I'm not too sure if it was stored that way. I don't know. I'm not gonna deduct points from the crack. It could have been me. Could have been the place I bought it from. I'm not too sure. All I do know is that everything held in place. Jaw is perfectly fine. It's not too tight. The box press is solid. I'm gonna give the construction a 9 out of 10. For experience, you know, you have the nice band. You have the thought process behind it that it was supposed to come out in 2020, but they wanted to age the tobacco more longer. It is a Montecristo series. So I'm gonna give the experience like a 5. It's still a prestigious brand. The band on it is really nice. And the insignia you see on the band wrapped around from the sides to the back, being embedded, and you can actually feel the ridges. That's a cool element, especially with the other band. That diamond's very shiny. Looks pretty. So the experience, I'll give it a 5 because they gave me a good presentation to the cigar with the bands, and they also gave me a great experience with the construction. That is why I'm giving it a 5, close to 6. But for the taste notes, I'm gonna have to give it a 2. I'm gonna have to give that taste note a 2. So with all that combined, technically speaking, the cigar will be rated a 5, but I'm gonna give it a 4. The cigar taste notes itself is kind of trash. If someone hands it to me, sure, I'll take it, but I would not buy it, especially at the price point that it's at $24.20 for the Toro. I could give you a big list of cigars around that price range or even below that would give you a better experience when it comes to taste note wise. Construction, they did well. For experience, band wise, they did exceptional. The band is pretty. The embedded insignia on the bands, that's a cool idea. It's a cool little touch instead of having a little plain band. They made it pretty. They've definitely made it pretty. But that taste note is not it for me. I just wish they did more to the taste notes. Maybe have a little bit more oomph with maybe other aspects to it. Having taste notes of the chocolate being a little bit more prominent. Having the taste note of the pepper being prominent. The creaminess being more prominent. And just having the earth just be an aftertaste. Or at least combined well. Not the main forefront. So it's a trash cigar to me. So even though technically speaking from 9, 5, and 2 and the altogether 16 divided by 3, that's like 5 and a third. I'm gonna consider this a 4 because construction can only do so much. Because if you have a cigar that tastes like shit and it has an ugly band, the taste is more dominant of what you want. I make the taste aspect 2 times more impactful compared to construction and experience. So let's kind of do that math again. Instead of being 2 plus 5 plus 9, and then take that and divide it by 3, let's do 2 plus 2. Because remember, taste is twice impactful compared to experience and construction. So 2 plus 2 plus 5 plus 9 should give you 18. 18 divided by 4. 20 divided by 4 will be 5. So that's 2 marked less. So that'd be 4.5. So in other words, this cigar is a 4.5. Making in the bracket trash. That's how I feel like the cigar is. The taste notes is just not it at all. If earth is something you do like in cigars, and especially a spice bomb, then you make your own decision. Don't base the cigar off what I'm saying about it. Form your own opinion on it. For me, it's a trash cigar. I wouldn't buy another one, and that's just my opinion on it. So this cigar is certified trash. Until next time, guys, as always, I love your faces, and I'm out. Peace.